Kim Jordan, CEO and co-founder of New Belgium Brewing Company, social innovator, game changer, co-creator, community builder. First SVN conference, woohoo, welcome. Works at the intersection of people, planet, and profit. Areas of brilliance, sales, branding, organizational development, and using business as a tool for social change. And my quote for Kim is, no matter whether you are a physician, a teacher, or a clergyman, if you can give increase of life to others and make them sensible of the fact, they will be attracted to you and you will prosper. The leader who holds the vision of him or herself as a great and faithful servant and who works towards the complete realization of that vision with faith and purpose will come into such close touch with the source of life that they will be phenomenally successful. Wallace Waddles, Kim Jordan.
So thank you so much for that, Ra. Appreciate it. So there we were, taking out a second mortgage on our house and getting ready to literally brew in the basement and dreaming about what we wanted this baby company to be. This is the story of our evolution in our thinking and our practice over more than 20 years for New Belgium Brewing Company. Before we ever made any beer, my then husband Jeff Liebisch and I went on a hike in Rocky Mountain National Park, and we wrote down what it was we wanted this company to stand for. And these are the four, I have a pointer here, I think. These are the four things that we came up with. You'll notice in there there's nothing about customers, and there's nothing about coworkers, because at that point we didn't have either one of those. And in all of my enthusiasm for crafting a vision for this startup company, I totally missed that fact that we had not included some really important people in the equation. So I'm actually a little bit embarrassed when I tell that story. But even with that, we were committing to the four things that really mattered to us. One of those was environmental stewardship. You see here this trash can. We bought that at Ace Hardware. Inside of it is a copper coil, and it serves as a heat exchanger. So even when we had a tiny brewery in the basement of our house, we were committing to recover energy so that we could use that for the next beer, for the next boil, or for cleaning, which is one of those ways, as we all know. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. As we all know, it's all those little incremental steps that you choose to make along the way that not only have a big impact in the aggregate, but also keep you connected to the thing that's your vision. This is our current brew house, Brew House 2 we call it, and you notice here that is also a heat exchanger. We didn't buy that one at Ace Hardware. That one was several $1 million. But it's still that same concept, and it's still, after 20 years, that same commitment to making sure that we're staying true to the things that we say matter to us. We did eventually hire our coworkers over a period of time, and in 1995 we gathered them together and said, you know, it's time to sort of flesh this sense of who we want to be as we grow up out a little more with your expertise and your perspective. So there were probably 70 of us at that point. All 70 of us got together and created a vision for New Belgium. Our purpose at New Belgium is to operate a profitable brewery which makes our love and talent manifest. We struggled with the word love. I didn't struggle with the word love, but some of those, our average employee is especially at this time, was probably a 25-year-old guy. I had to kind of get them over that. But in some ways, this is like our personal triple bottom line, if you will. That you can be as groovy as you want to be, but if you're not profitable, you can't keep the doors open. And really, at the end of the day, this is about making sure that you're being loving and that you're being excellent, because we spend a hell of a lot of time in this thing that we call work. And if it can't feed your soul and help you really feel like, you're with people who deeply care about you and about your success, my question would be, why are you here? So that's important for us. And we fleshed out our core values and beliefs as well, because we kept the original 4, but we knew that there was more that we wanted to be responsible for. You'll notice one of those is to be a business role model. That's part of why I'm here today. It's part of why we spend a lot of time speaking about New Belgium. It's part of why we have a group of people who go around the country to talk about our practice, because it matters to us. Make no mistake, we are a manufacturing company. We really, at what we do is a marriage of industrial manufacturing, an ancient art form. It's thought that brewing is either the oldest industry or the second oldest industry in the world. Both of those involved women, by the way, because the first brewers in the world were women. So, but our work is really fairly blue collar. It's really a combination of wrenches and rubber boots and scrubby pads. And so this is something that, sets us on fire and keeps people deeply engaged in the work that we do. I like to keep notes in case I freeze on you. So. In 1994, I read a book called The Great Game of Business by Jack Stack. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Jack Stack, but he's certainly the father of the open book management movement. And we've been practicing open book management and high involvement culture since that time. Since about 1995, we've had some kind of equity sharing plan with all of our coworkers. It's not a top management kind of plan. Everyone in the organization is included. In 2000, we switched to an ESOP. At the end of this last year, my coworkers owned 41% of the company. And on December 28th, 2012, we sold the company, myself, my 2 boys, and some of our management coworkers, to our coworkers through the ESOP. So now it's 100% employee owned, which is really exciting for us. Thank you. Thanks. And I'll talk more about how that fits into our big plan. Every August, we have an all-staff retreat. We go over with our coworkers to kind of refresh the longer-term scenario so that they're prepared to devise the annual plan, and they really kick off our strategic planning process. There are 500 of us now. We always meet outside, rain or shine, so that we can make sure that we bring fresh air and sunshine in the natural world into our process. We've become experts at the clipboard and small group facilitation. And it's a powerful part of keeping everyone going in one direction and connected to one another and building community and setting the expectation that we'll all be in the business of running the business. So we were going along and investing in things like this. This is a biodigester, an anaerobic digester in a process water treatment plant. And we were doing that because it was meaningful to us and we wanted to. Before we send our clean processed water back to the city, it goes through this process, and one of the byproducts of that is methane. So we are able to pipe the methane back to the brewery, and it creates about 15% of our energy need by using a byproduct, that you would typically just send to drain. So that's been a really important part of our process, as well as we have the largest PV panel. And I talk about that not just to say that this is what we're doing, but to this is the equivalent in this format of speed dating, but to kind of give you a sense of what we do at New Belgium. In 2007, we started evolving our thinking. We put together a sustainability management program by involving a large swath of the company in developing this. We then realized that we needed to do a life cycle assessment, and so we put up on our website and published for our competitors and friends in the industry our understanding of what it takes to make a six-pack of beer in terms of our carbon footprint. And one of the things that really did was to free us with our customers to say, here's where we are and here's where we're going. It gave us a baseline for ourselves to set audacious goals, but it also kept us from having this feeling like we can't really talk about the things that we do, and really allowed us to kind of open ourselves up and say, we're not, there's still a long way to go, that this is a process for us, but we want to share with you what we've learned about, the impact of what's really considered light manufacturing. But nevertheless, we use resources, and it allowed us to talk about that. And then we evolved a little bit more, and we said, in addition to the work that we're doing, the practice that we have internally, we want to be sure that we are collaborating with people. At the same time that we did the ESOP transaction at the end of the year, actually it was about a month later, we became a B Corporation. And part of that was that really, we're laying the foundation at this point for how we perpetuate this company and this business role model strategy long after I'm gone. So in addition to, we also work with the American Sustainable Business Council and other organizations all over the country. We do partnerships with different groups. We're talking about some kind of myco beer cozy from spent grain thing, that we might do here. So that'll be interesting to see. But we try to make sure that we're on the intellectual cutting edge of, we do a lot of untested technology kinds of things. Our rule is that 50% of our untested technology should fail, because if it doesn't, and 10% of the technology we buy should be untested. If 50% of it doesn't fail, that means we're not far enough out on the pioneering edge of that work. So that's been an important way for us to help move the collective knowledge about things like different methods for processed water, digesters and capturing of methane and turning that into thermal and electrical energy. So for us, we see this people, planet, and profits as interdependent. We are not successful because we have a trade-off between one or the other. We're successful because each of them feeds the other. And that's an important part of how we show up now and how we want to continue to show up in the future. Because there are no trade-offs there, right? You know that. Just like there is no away, there are no trade-offs for doing one. You can't be profitable at the expense of people and the planet. And so we're really interested in making sure that we're taking into account our stakeholders in a broad swath in all of the communities where we sell beer. The people that we work with who are now the caretakers of our brands and our equity. And as I said before, you can't do that if you're not profitable as well. My boys and I have started a foundation, And so we're really interested to see how we can develop this perpetuating cycle of using equity for good inside the company, but also taking essentially, what we've done then is to take the retained earnings and the brand value and turn that into another vehicle for being able to make change in the world, invest in companies who are making change. I will do probably in the beginning more philanthropy, but our intention is to try to grow that philanthrocapitalism side of thing, the mission-driven investing, to make sure that we are really leveraging those dollars. And the interesting piece of it is this ownership piece, because then it has the ability, coupled with the B Corp, to really perpetuate itself in the way that, and those people will then be able to use their money to do interesting things out in the community. So we're very excited about that possibility. And I think there are a lot of people my age who have been doing this kind of work for approximately the same length of time. And I think we're going to see more and more people who are kind of trying to turn this notion of capitalism a little bit on its head and say, how much do I need, and how can I leverage? For us, the brand New Belgium beer is a powerful brand. It's not doorstops or umbrellas. And so to really not squander that brand, but really use the power of it coupled with our business practice, we're really excited about what the future holds in that regard. We don't have all the answers. We're on a journey. But we're taking the first steps, and my boys and I are pretty excited about the potential there. So for one of the last things that we have learned at New Belgium is that if it's not fun, it's probably not very sustainable. And so one of our first core values and beliefs I leave with you, that in addition to all of that, we make beer for a living, and we're trying to make sure that we have a lot of fun in that process of being together as well. There was, I thought, a picture of my coworkers, but if not, for all of my coworkers at New Belgium, I thank you, and I look forward to hearing what other people are going to talk about today. Thank you very much.